What do I have to offer anybody? I have no wisdom. I have no, who am I? I'm just Grace. But, I don't know. And that's my insecurity too. When I get up and play sometimes, I will, and I wrote a song about this too, suffer from stage fright while in the midst of performing. So I'm on autopilot performing, but in my head, I got this, you suck. Everybody thinks you're ugly, or some awful thing running through my head. And so I wrote about it. I am Grace Newton, and I'm a singer-songwriter and music instructor with Gwinnett School of Music in Grayson. I'm a mom, but my kids are grown. And about to face a new life change. My youngest is moving out, so for the first time in my life, I will be alone.
Wow.
So, I'm kind of excited, and at the same time, like, what is my purpose now? What do I do now? I don't have that role anymore. So, the process that I use to get through things and learn to cope. So I write when I need to cope with something. So I guess my next album will be full of what's my purpose in life now that my kids are grown and out of the house. I've been off antidepressants now for I think since 2013, 2014. So I've lost track. But for me, I can tell when I'm starting to go down. I'm getting better at reading my own signs, and that's when I just I need to go inward, and I have my little checklist of things that I need to do. I got my tools in my tool belt to help me, and as things come up in life that start to send me spiraling, I know the process that I need to take in order to maintain and not go too far down. And if I do, I have, of course, my mother, who's awesome and great support for me. And she's very quick to call me out when she notices things. And so I know that if I know I have a place to go if I do find that I need to get back in. And the biggest stigma is that we should be capable of pulling ourselves up by our own bootstraps, right? And part of me thinks, well, that's kind of what I'm doing right now in this stage in life, what I'm doing now. But I'm also know that I'm not afraid to, if I need help, to go and seek it out anymore. But I guess feeling like I'm a failure because I couldn't do it by myself at that time. But now I don't feel like a failure anymore. And if I know that if I do need help, it doesn't mean that I've failed in some way or that I'm doing something wrong. It's just sometimes we need it. Playing music is huge. So one of the nice things I like about my work is I teach music students both in the morning, in the afternoon, and evening. And I like getting there 45 minutes before my first student. And sometimes I have students that arrive at 8 in the morning, sometimes 9. And I'll get there early and I will just play. And that is really, that's the most consistent thing that I do, is to just start my morning off at a piano or guitar or whatever instrument I'm feeling that day. I call myself an extroverted introvert because I can be social. I enjoy being social. I enjoy being around people, but I can only do it for so long, and then I have to have quiet time, put myself in timeout. If I don't get my alone time than I do get stressed. But I do enjoy being around people. It's not that I don't like, I love people. I love having conversations and listening to stories. And my first album I released was called Living Stories because it was made up of songs that were inspired by other people's life, and a lot of them impacted me. And I get a lot of anxiety when I'm in a crowd, and I think it's because of, you know, the short stature. I can't see. I need to be able to see around me, and if there's a lot of people real close, it gets I get anxious. So I prefer being on stage so I can look out at people, and I feel like I would write songs for a while to communicate also, because I had trouble expressing in conversation what it was that I was trying to say. And sometimes by writing songs I can get out what it is I'm trying to say better. I have felt that if I can express it through a song or through art, then, or poetry, whatever, then it's not in me anymore. It's not stewing in here or in here. It's out. It's out there now. It's not in here anymore. So that's another way of coping too, is facing those awful thoughts that just kind of creep through the brain and sneak up on you. If I put it out there, then it kind of either forces me to look at it, or I am able to let go of it. Somebody's struggling, I guess number one, seek help. Don't be afraid to seek help, no matter what anybody says. Don't let other people be the influence in you, whether or not you, to keep you from getting help, I guess, would be my thing. And there are resources out there. And learn about you. Who are you? What kind of things can you do for yourself? What makes you I guess that's the wrong word, not makes you. No, what makes you? Just that simple. Like for me, it's rivers, nature, sitting down playing music, playing with my cats, drinking my coffee. Had my life since I was 21 years old has been children and responsibilities, and now that both of them are launched and live in their own lives, I guess now it's time for me to figure out what makes me. I'll set it up a little bit if that's all right. I was married to a depressive, and I wrote this song while I was still married. I'm trying to figure things out, and we were very codependent on each other. So that song is really basically speaking to that codependency. So Tangled in Strings is the name of it. So we'll see how it goes. Now I'm nervous. Marionette sits on the shelf, and lifelessly stares down at himself. He's tangled up in strings, tangled up in everything, He was waiting for someone, waiting for the one who would set him free. He was waiting for someone, waiting for the one who would set him free. And he thought she was the moon in his starlit sky. And he thought she was the one to bring meaning to his life, to his life. And all he had to do was give her some control. Well, he gave her just a little bit, but then she took it all. And he should have known he cannot run. Yes, he should have known he cannot fly when he's tied to the devil with the pale blue eyes. She thought he was the sun. She could orbit around and around and around. And she thought she was the one to keep him tied to the ground, to the ground. All she had to do was take some control. Oh, well, he gave her just a little bit, but then she took it all. And he should have known he cannot run. Yes, he should have known he cannot fly when he's tied to the devil with the pale blue eyes. Now the marionettes, they sit on the shelf. Lifelessly they stare down at themselves.
That's a great song.